18 Premier League wins to 1. That is the historical head-to-head between Manchester City and Bournemouth. But listen, if you trust the data, you know this is absolutely no routine fixture. Welcome to The Explainer, where today we're breaking down a massive statistical clash at the Vitality Stadium. We're throwing out the history books because this match, it's a massive test of pure on-field pitch geography. We're going to blend hardcore data with deep tactical analysis to expose exactly where this game will be won or lost.
15. That is Bournemouth's shocking, absolutely unbelievable, unbeaten run in the matches leading up to this clash. 15. We're talking about a team that has scored 10 goals in their last 5 games, securing some truly massive upsets over Arsenal and Newcastle. And you know what that momentum translates to? Zero fear on the pitch. Now, obviously, Manchester City is coming in hot themselves with 11 goals in their last 5, but Bournemouth is playing with just supreme confidence right now. The stakes here are incredibly high.
All right, let's dive right into Section 1, the tactical clash.
So on paper, both Andoni Iraola and Pep Guardiola are rocking a 4-2-3-1 formation, but the actual execution, worlds apart. Iraola's Bournemouth is built entirely on the suffocating high press and terrifying vertical speed. They demand aggressive support around the striker and immediate, direct forward passes the second they win the ball in transition. Countering that, you've got Guardiola's City, who want to dictate the tempo. The numbers show us they rely heavily on possession and creating central overloads, constantly dropping players into the half spaces to mathematically outnumber Bournemouth's midfield. It's essentially chaotic transition speed, going head-to-head with meticulously structured possession.
Let's look at the cold hard math for a second. The statistical model still heavily favors the visitors, giving City a 54% probability of taking all 3 points. Bournemouth sits at a 25% chance of an upset, with the draw at 21%. City's chance creation remains absolutely elite, which obviously carries heavy weight in the models. But honestly, a 25% win probability for a home underdog against the reigning champions is unusually high. The danger Bournemouth presents here is very, very real.
And that danger is magnified exponentially by one specific tactical vulnerability, the missing anchor. Rodri is doubtful today with a groin issue, and his absence fundamentally shatters City's defensive control. It's a huge deal. If Guardiola has to drop Nico Gonzalez or Tijani Reinders into that defensive midfield pivot, they simply do not offer the same elite level of transition defense. Without Rodri, they're sweeping up loose balls and killing counterattacks right at their origin. City's high press leaves them dangerously, almost fatally, exposed at the back.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, transitions and vertical battles.
Bournemouth operates this really rigid, lethal 3-step sequence to find danger. Step 1, establish pressing triggers high up the pitch to suffocate City's center backs. Step 2, force a rush buildup, capitalizing directly on the lack of Rodri as that perfect, reliable passing outlet. And Step 3, exploit wide runners. Once Bournemouth forces that turnover, they instantly target the massive expanses of green grass left behind City's advanced inverted fullbacks. Mathematically, this trap has been incredibly effective for them in recent weeks. It's almost perfectly engineered to break Guardiola's system.
Because of this, it's going to be an absolute clash of weapons out on the wings. On one side, you've got Janemi Doku, the ultimate agent of chaos. His 1v1 isolation metrics out wide are literally a nightmare for opposition fullbacks, exactly like we saw against Brentford. But on the counter, you've got Ellie Jr. Krupi. Krupi isn't about slowly, methodically breaking down a low block. He is all about devastating directness. His vertical runs in transition are completely lethal. So you're watching Doku's intricate wide isolation battle against Krupi's explosive straight-line strikes.
Okay, moving on to Section 3, Fantasy and XG Anchors.
Manchester City sits comfortably at a projected 2.1 expected goals, compared to Bournemouth's 1.4. Look, while Bournemouth is highly efficient right now, City just generates high-quality chance volume, plain and simple. Their offensive output remains elite. However, that 1.4 xG for Bournemouth is crucial. It means they are absolutely expected to find the back of the net today, pushing the most likely model scoreline to a really tight 1-2 City victory.
The players responsible for that expected output are our fantasy anchors. For Bournemouth, breakout star Eli Jr. Krupi has 12 goals in his debut season, averaging a goal every 121 minutes. He is the ultimate high-upside transition threat right now. Opposite him, the premium machine himself, Erling Haaland. 26 league goals. He's the Premier League's top scorer and the ultimate penalty box predator. You basically have explosive directness going toe-to-toe with absolute inevitability.
Get this, 48%. That is Erling Haaland's estimated scoring probability for this single match. It's nearly a coin flip that he scores today.
Why is it so high? Because Bournemouth categorically refuses to sit in a low block. They are going to press high, and when you leave that kind of space behind your defensive line against a team generating 2.1 expected goals, Haaland is going to absolutely feast on those central chances.
Now for the wild cards. Section 4. Discipline and booking risks.
So, a tactical foul is a deliberate infringement to stop an opponent's dangerous counterattack during a defensive transition. And because both of these teams aggressively exploit vertical speed behind advanced fullbacks, the midfield half spaces are going to become absolute war zones out there. Players are going to be isolated, dragged out of position, and forced to make split-second decisions to clip a heel just to stop a guaranteed goal-scoring opportunity.
So who is most at risk? Tyler Adams is directly in the crosshairs. Operating centrally against City's fluid rotations with Foden and Shirky is going to constantly force Adams into those tactical fouls. Marco Senesi also faces immense pressure dealing directly with Haaland's sheer physicality. On the City side, keep a close eye on Nico Gonzalez. Stepping in for Rodri to control those defensive transitions is a role that historically just bleeds yellow cards against fast counterattacking teams. And if Mateus Nunes ends up playing right back, Bournemouth's transition speed is going to severely test his discipline all game long.
Which brings us to our conclusion. Section 5, the final verdict.
The models conclude with this exact sentiment. This is a high-risk away fixture for Guardiola's side. Yes, City has the 54% win probability. Yes, they have Haaland, but that expected 1-2 scoreline is perilously thin. If City's finishing efficiency drops even slightly, or if Bournemouth successfully exploits the massive space left by a missing Rodri, this game mathematically flirts with a 2-2 collapse for the visitors.
So, with the title race pressure completely suffocating right now, the tactics are set and the traps are officially laid. The only question left to ask is, which midfield will crack first in the transition?